Stop! What are you doing?
This sudden shout was like a thunderbolt, instantly shattering the happy and peaceful atmosphere in the backyard. I, like a small boat caught in a storm, had no idea that this moment would completely change the course of my life. Dear friends, welcome to today's story, where we'll uncover the pain and growth hidden within. I'm Lily, 28 years old. I've been with my husband Jack for 6 years, and we've been married for 4. We have 2 extremely lovely daughters. Emily, who's 3 years old, is full of energy and always eager to share her little adventures. Sophia, nearly 1 year old, is as cute as a button. Our life has always been filled with love and happiness. Jack is my rock, my constant companion, and a wonderful father to our children. Every night, when I snuggle into his arms, I feel a sense of security that I thought would last forever. Last weekend, the weather was perfect. We decided to invite some close friends over for a barbecue. We decorated the backyard with colorful fairy lights, and the long table was filled with fresh fruits, salads, and delicious condiments. Jack, looking like a professional chef, was grilling burgers and sausages skillfully. The children were running around, laughing and chasing a ball. At that moment, I felt like the luckiest person in the world. Just as the food was almost ready, Jack realized the beer had run out. He excused himself and went inside. I was chatting with Sarah and Tom about Emily's cute stories in kindergarten. I was so absorbed that I didn't notice Mia quietly following Jack into the house. Moments later, a commotion came from inside. I looked up and was shocked to see Mia jumping out and kissing Jack forcefully. Time seemed to stop. Jack's eyes widened in horror and anger, and he immediately pushed Mia away. "What the hell?" he shouted. Mia's face turned pale, and she burst into tears, running out of the house quickly. Jack came back to the backyard, looking stunned. He told me what had happened in a trembling voice. I couldn't believe my ears. I stared at him, trying to find some sign of falsehood, but saw only sincerity and helplessness. "It's okay," I managed to say. "We'll talk when everyone leaves." For the next few hours, I forced myself to act normal. But inside, I was a mess. Every time I saw the empty seat where Mia should have been, I felt a sharp pain of betrayal. I kept replaying that scene in my mind, wondering why my best friend would do such a thing. Finally, when the last friend left, Jack and I sat on the couch. He showed me the video from the living room camera. The truth was undeniable. Mia, my friend of 10 years, had betrayed me. I thought about all the good times we had shared, late-night talks, shopping trips, and playdates for the kids. She had always been like family to me. Now, tears filled my eyes, and I sobbed in Jack's arms. I just couldn't understand why this had happened. In the days after that fateful barbecue, our home, which once brimmed with warmth, now felt cold and quiet. The air was thick with unease and lingering pain. But as time passed, Jack and I knew we had to find a way to move forward, especially for our daughters, Emily and Sophia. The morning after I opened up to Jack, I woke up feeling a mix of relief and tiredness. The secret burden in my heart was gone, yet the emotional stress of the past days had left me drained. Jack, sensing my vulnerability, held me tight as soon as I woke. "Morning, honey. How are you feeling?" he asked, his voice still a bit hoarse from sleep. I snuggled closer, seeking comfort. "A bit better, but it's still hard to believe all this happened." Jack kissed my forehead gently. "I know, but we'll get through it together." We got up and started our day. The daily tasks of taking care of the kids brought a bit of normalcy. But as I made breakfast for Emily and fed Sophia, my mind kept going back to Mia. I wondered what she was doing and if she regretted her actions. That afternoon, while the kids napped, I decided to clean the guest room. As I sorted through old boxes, I found an album from our college days. Most photos had Mia in them, smiling brightly and looking carefree. I sat on the floor, looking at the album. Memories of our good times flooded back, late night study sessions, fun parties, and deep conversations. How could someone who had been such a big part of my life betray me like this? Lost in thought, I didn't notice Jack come in. He sat beside me, and his eyes softened when he saw the album. "Remember those days?" he asked, a touch of nostalgia in his voice. I nodded, my throat tight. "Yes, but everything's so different now. Looking at these, I just feel angry and hurt." Jack put his arm around me. "I know it's tough, but focus on us and our family. Mia made a selfish choice, but we can't let her ruin us." I leaned on him, finding comfort in his words. He was right. We had to move on and create a new normal. That evening, after the kids were asleep, Jack and I sat on the couch, having some wine. We talked about our future plans, about making our family stronger. I was thinking, Jack said, putting his wine glass down. We should take a family vacation. Just the four of us. Somewhere to relax and forget all this. I looked at him, a glimmer of hope in my eyes. That sounds great. But what about work and the kids? Jack smiled. I can take some time off, and we can find someone to look after Sophia. Emily will love it, and it'll be good for all of us. I thought for a moment and then agreed. Okay, let's do it. We really need this. In the following days, we planned the vacation. We chose a beach resort in Florida. Jack booked the trip, and I started packing, trying to focus on the excitement instead of the pain. But as the days went by, I got nervous about the vacation. What if something went wrong while we were away? What if Mia tried to contact us? One evening, as I was folding clothes in the bedroom, Jack came in and sat on the bed. Hey, I can tell you're worried. What's up? He asked, looking into my eyes. I sighed and put the shirt down. I'm nervous about this trip. What if something bad happens? What if Mia shows up here while we're gone? Jack took my hand. I understand, but we can't let fear stop us. We have a new security system, and our neighbors will watch the house. If Mia contacts us, we'll deal with it then. Right now, let's focus on having fun and healing as a family. I listened and tried to believe him. He was right. We couldn't let Mia's actions stop us from living. Finally, the day of our trip arrived. We packed the kids and our luggage and headed to the airport. Emily was super excited, talking non-stop about the sandcastles she wanted to build. Sophia was more interested in chewing her toys. The flight to Florida was smooth, and soon we checked into our hotel. The room was nice, with a balcony overlooking the ocean. Emily ran to the window, her eyes wide with excitement. Look, Mommy. The beach, she shouted. I smiled, feeling happy for the first time in weeks. Yes, baby. We'll have a great time here. In the following days, we did have a wonderful time. We spent days on the beach, playing in the sand, swimming, and building sandcastles. Emily made friends with other kids, and Jack and I took turns looking after her and Sophia. In the evenings, we went to local restaurants for dinner. After dinner, we walked along the beach, hand in hand, listening to the waves. During one of these walks, I started to let go of some of the pain and anger. The warm sand, the gentle breeze, and my family's love made me realize life was too short to be filled with negativity. Jack, I said, stopping to look at the ocean. Thanks for everything. I don't know what I'd do without you. Jack hugged me and kissed my forehead. You don't have to thank me. I'm just glad to see you starting to enjoy life again. We stood there, holding each other. In that moment, I knew we'd be okay. The betrayal was just a part of our story, not the end. But just when things seemed to be getting better, life threw us another problem. One evening, as we were getting ready for dinner, I got a text from an unknown number. My heart raced as I opened it. Please, Lily, we need to talk. I'm really sorry for what I did. I knew it was from Mia. I stared at the text, my hands shaking. What did she want? Why was she contacting me now? I showed the text to Jack, my eyes full of fear. What should I do? I whispered. Jack read the text and said, I'm not sure. Maybe don't reply right away. Let's think about it and talk. We don't want to rush into anything. I nodded, my mind in a whirl. Jack was right. We had to be careful. But a part of me was also curious. What did Mia want to say? Was she really sorry? We decided to put it aside for now and focus on dinner. But as we sat in the restaurant, I could hardly eat. I kept thinking about the text and Mia and what the future held for us. The moment I received Mia's text, the hard, one piece of our family vacation seemed to be on the verge of shattering. The warm, golden glow of the Florida sunset, which had been so soothing just moments ago, now felt oppressive. I stared at the phone screen, the words from Mia swimming in front of my eyes, as if taunting me. Jack and I sat in silence for a while, the only sound in the room being the soft rustling of the curtains in the ocean breeze. Finally, he broke the silence. I know this is tough, Lily, but we need to think rationally. We can't let her derail the progress we've made. I nodded, my mind still in a jumble. I know, but I can't help but wonder what she wants to say. After all we've been through, I feel like I deserve some answers. Jack reached out and took my hand. I understand, but you have to be careful. She might just be trying to manipulate you again. We spent the rest of the evening discussing our options. Jack was firmly against responding immediately. He feared that any interaction could reopen old wounds and disrupt the fragile peace we had managed to establish. I, on the other hand, was torn. A part of me was desperate for closure, for a chance to understand why my best friend had betrayed me in such a cruel way. As the night wore on, sleep eluded me. I tossed and turned, my thoughts constantly circling back to Mia. In the early hours of the morning, I finally made a decision. I would reply to her text, but I would do it on my own terms. I would be cautious, and I would not let her get the upper hand. The next day, while Jack took the kids to the beach, I sat on the balcony, my phone in hand. With a deep breath, I typed out a message. Mia, I received your text. I'm willing to talk, but only when I'm back home. I need time to prepare myself. After hitting send, I felt a strange mix of relief and anxiety. I had taken the first step, but I had no idea what to expect next. The rest of our vacation passed in a bit of a blur. I tried my best to focus on the kids and enjoy the time with Jack, but there was always a nagging sense of unease in the back of my mind. Emily, blissfully unaware of the turmoil in our lives, continued to build her sandcastles and play with her new friends. Sophia, with her innocent smiles and babbling, provided a much-needed source of comfort. Finally, the day to return home arrived. As we drove back from the airport, I felt a knot forming in my stomach. I knew that once we were back, I would have to face the inevitable conversation with Mia. The next morning, after Jack left for work and the kids were at daycare, I sat in the living room, waiting for Mia's response. It didn't take long. My phone buzzed, and there was a message from her. Thank you, Lily. I'll be waiting for you. I really am sorry. I stared at the message, 1,000 emotions welling up inside me. I decided to meet her at a neutral place, a small coffee shop on the outskirts of town. I didn't want her anywhere near my home, not after what she had done. When the day of the meeting arrived, I was a bundle of nerves. I dressed carefully, choosing an outfit that made me feel confident and in control. As I drove to the coffee shop, I rehearsed in my mind what I would say. Mia was already there when I arrived. She looked different. Her eyes were puffy, as if she had been crying a lot, and there were dark circles under them. She stood up as I approached, a look of guilt and remorse on her face. Thank you for coming, Lily, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I sat down across from her, my gaze steady. I'm here, but I want you to know that this is not going to be easy. You hurt me, and you hurt my family. Mia nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. I know, and I can never forgive myself for what I did. I was going through a really tough time. My marriage was falling apart, and I was feeling so alone. I made a terrible mistake, and I'm so sorry. I listened to her, a mix of anger and pity welling up inside me. Your problems don't excuse what you did. You should have come to me if you were going through a hard time, not tried to destroy my life. Mia sobbed softly. I know. I was so stupid. I don't know what I was thinking. I was jealous of your happy family, and I let my emotions get the better of me. We talked for hours, Mia pouring her heart out, and me listening, sometimes interrupting to ask questions or voice my anger. By the end of the conversation, I still didn't have all the answers I wanted, but I did feel a bit of closure. I'm not sure if I can ever trust you again, Mia, I said as we were about to part ways. But I'm willing to try to move forward for the sake of the memories we shared. However, if you ever do anything like this again, I will cut you out of my life for good. Mia nodded, her eyes filled with gratitude. Thank you, Lily. I'll do whatever it takes to make it up to you. As I drove home, I felt a strange sense of lightness. The weight of the past few weeks had not completely disappeared, but I felt like I had taken a step towards healing. When I got home, I called Jack and told him about the conversation. He listened intently, offering words of support and comfort. I'm proud of you, Lily, he said. You handled it really well. I know this is still a long process, but I'm here with you every step of the way. That evening, as I watched Emily and Sophia playing in the living room, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. Our family had been through a storm, but we were still standing. And perhaps, with time and effort, we could emerge stronger than ever. In the days following my meeting with Mia, a tenuous sense of normalcy began to thread its way back into our lives. The heavy cloud of betrayal that had loomed over us seemed to have lifted slightly, though its shadow still lingered in the corners of my mind. Jack remained my rock, offering unwavering support in the form of warm hugs and gentle words whenever the residual pain threatened to resurface. One evening, as we sat on the porch, the soft glow of the setting sun casting a warm hue over the neighborhood, we watched Emily pedal her tricycle up and down the driveway. Her laughter echoed through the air, a sweet reminder of the simple joys that still existed in our world. I turned to Jack, a mixture of relief and lingering uncertainty in my voice. I'm really glad we had that talk with Mia. It didn't erase all the hurt, but it did bring some much-needed clarity. Jack nodded, his eyes never leaving Emily as she navigated her tricycle around a small patch of grass. I'm glad too. I just hope she truly grasps the seriousness of what she did and won't cause you any more pain. Just then, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out to see a message from Sarah, one of our friends from the ill-fated barbecue. Hey Lily, I know things have been tough, but a few of us are planning a girls' night out. Would you like to come? I showed the message to Jack, a hint of hesitation in my eyes. I'm not sure. I haven't really been out like that since. Well, Jack smiled encouragingly, placing his hand on mine. I think it could be really good for you. You deserve to have some fun and unwind with your friends. It might help you move forward even more. After a moment of contemplation, I decided to go. It would be a welcome change of pace, a chance to step outside the house and focus on something other than the ongoing drama with Mia. The night of the girls' night out finally arrived. I stood in front of my closet, staring at my clothes, feeling a strange mix of excitement and nervousness. I hadn't seen some of these friends since the barbecue, and I couldn't help but wonder how they would react to what had happened. Would they be awkward around me? Would they ask too many questions? In the end, I chose a simple but stylish dress, applied a bit of makeup to hide the faint signs of stress under my eyes, and headed out. When I arrived at the restaurant where we were meeting, Sarah was the first to spot me. She rushed over and gave me a warm hug. Hey you, I'm so glad you could make it. The other girls gathered around, offering similar greetings. To my relief, there was no awkwardness, no prying questions. We were soon seated at a table, sipping cocktails and chatting about everything from the latest fashion trends to the antics of our children. As the evening wore on, I found myself relaxing more and more. It was wonderful to be surrounded by friends, to laugh and talk without the weight of the past few weeks bearing down on me. But then, the conversation took an unexpected turn. One of the girls, Emily, leaned in and said, "So Lily, we've all been wondering. How are you really doing? With everything that happened with Mia, I mean." The table fell silent, all eyes on me. I took a deep breath, not sure how much I wanted to share. But looking around at the concerned faces of my friends, I decided to be honest. "I'm doing better," I said. "I met with Mia and we talked. It was hard, but it helped. I'm still not sure if I can ever fully trust her again, but I'm trying to move forward." The girls nodded, offering words of support and understanding. They shared their own stories of betrayal and heartbreak, making me realize that I wasn't alone in my pain. As the night came to an end and we said our goodbyes, I felt a sense of gratitude. Gratitude for my friends who had been there for me through this difficult time, and gratitude for the chance to let loose and have some fun. When I got home, Jack was waiting up for me. He looked at me expectantly. "How was it?" I smiled, a genuine smile for the first time in a long while. "It was great. I had a really good time." Jack pulled me into a hug. "I'm so happy to hear that. You deserve it." That night, as I lay in bed, I felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe, our lives were finally starting to get back on track. But I knew that the road ahead would still be long and difficult. There were still questions to be answered, wounds to be healed. And I wasn't sure if I was truly ready to face whatever else life might throw my way. A few weeks passed after the girls' night out, and I was gradually finding my rhythm again. I had started taking on some freelance work from home, which gave me a sense of purpose outside of my family life. Jack, too, seemed more at ease, and we made a conscious effort to spend more quality time together as a family. One sunny Saturday morning, while Jack was playing with the girls in the backyard, I was in the kitchen, sipping my coffee and looking through some work emails. Suddenly, I heard a knock at the front door. Curious, I set down my coffee cup and made my way to answer it. To my surprise, it was Mia. She stood on the porch, looking nervous and fidgeting with the strap of her handbag. "Hi, Lily," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I hope it's okay that I stopped by. I know I should have called first." I stared at her for a moment, a mix of emotions flooding through me. On one hand, I was still hurt by what she had done, and her unexpected appearance caught me off guard. On the other hand, I remembered our conversation at the coffee shop and the promise I had made to try and move forward. "Come in," I said, stepping aside. As she walked past me into the living room, I couldn't help but notice how different she looked. Her once vibrant hair seemed dull, and there were still faint circles under her eyes. We sat down on the couch, and for a few moments, there was an awkward silence. Finally, Mia spoke. I just wanted to come and tell you that I'm really trying to get my life back on track. I've been going to counseling, and it's been helping me a lot. I listened intently, not sure what to say. That's good, Mia. I'm glad to hear that you're taking steps to improve things. She nodded, her eyes welling up with tears. I also wanted to apologize again for what I did. I know that no matter how many times I say it, it won't make up for the pain I caused you and your family. But I really am sorry. I took a deep breath. I appreciate your apology, Mia, and I'm glad you're getting help. But it's going to take time for me to fully trust you again. Mia wiped away a tear. I understand. I don't expect you to forgive me overnight. I just hope that one day we can be friends again, like we used to be. We talked for a while longer about Mia's progress in counseling, about her attempts to repair her own marriage, and about how she was trying to be a better person. As we spoke, I found myself softening towards her a little. I could see that she was truly remorseful, and I admired her for taking the initiative to seek help. Just then, Jack walked into the living room with the girls. Emily immediately ran over to me, her eyes wide when she saw Mia. "Who's that, Mommy?" she asked. I looked at Mia, then back at Emily. "This is Mommy's friend, Mia. She came to visit." Jack gave Mia a polite but guarded smile. "Hello, Mia." Mia stood up, looking a bit embarrassed. "Hi, Jack. I'm sorry to intrude. I was just leaving." I walked Mia to the door. "Thanks for coming by," I said. "I hope things continue to go well for you." Mia turned to me, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. "Thank you, Lily. And I promise I'll keep working on myself." After she left, I stood on the porch for a few minutes, lost in thought. Jack came up behind me and put his arm around my shoulders. "Are you okay?" he asked. I nodded. "Yeah, I'm okay. It was a bit of a shock to see her, but I think it was good that we talked." Jack kissed my forehead. "You're stronger than you realize, Lily. And I'm here for you, no matter what." Later that day, as I watched Jack and the girls playing in the backyard, I felt a sense of peace. Yes, there was still a long way to go in healing the wounds that Mia's betrayal had caused. But I was starting to believe that with time, understanding, and a lot of hard work, our family could not only recover but also become stronger. The events of the past few months had taught me the importance of forgiveness, not just for others, but for myself as well. Holding on to anger and resentment would only continue to hurt me and my family. And as I looked at my daughters, their laughter filling the air, I knew that I wanted to set an example for them, an example of resilience and the power of second chances. Months passed since Mia's unexpected visit. The once gaping wound in my heart had now healed into a faint scar, a reminder of the storm we'd weathered as a family. The days fell into a new rhythm, a blend of normalcy and a newfound appreciation for the little things. I continued with my freelance work, finding a sense of fulfillment in the projects I took on. The extra income not only lightened our financial load, but also boosted my confidence. Jack's career was also on an upward trajectory, and he seemed more relaxed and content than he had in a long time. Emily was thriving in preschool, her infectious laughter filling our home every afternoon when she returned. Sophia was growing up fast, taking her first steps and babbling her first words, much to our delight. One warm summer evening, as the sun began to set, casting a beautiful orange glow over our backyard, Jack suggested we have a small family barbecue. "Just the four of us," he said with a smile. "It's been a while since we've had a proper family celebration." As we set up the grill and laid out the food, I couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude. This was the life I had always wanted, a loving husband, 2 beautiful children, and a home filled with warmth and laughter. Halfway through our meal, Emily suddenly piped up. "Mommy, can we invite Aunt Mia next time?" Jack and I exchanged a surprised look. We hadn't talked much about Mia in front of the kids, but it seemed Emily had formed her own impression of our once estranged friend. I took a deep breath and looked at Emily. "You know, honey, Aunt Mia has been trying really hard to be a better person. Maybe one day we can invite her." Emily's face lit up. "Yay, I want to play with her." Jack reached over and squeezed my hand. "You're amazing, Lily. The way you've handled all of this. It's inspiring." I smiled at him. We've both been through a lot, but we're stronger because of it. After dinner, we all sat on the porch, watching the stars slowly appear in the night sky. Sophia fell asleep in my arms, and Emily leaned against Jack, her eyes drooping. As I looked at my family, I realized that the pain and betrayal we had experienced had, in a strange way, brought us closer. We had learned to communicate better, to trust each other more, and to cherish every moment we had together. And then there was the question of Mia. I knew that fully mending our friendship would be a long and slow process, but I was willing to give it a chance. After all, people make mistakes, and the true measure of a relationship is whether it can withstand the test of time and forgiveness. In the quiet of the night, with the soft breeze blowing and the sound of crickets chirping, I felt a sense of peace and closure. Our family had come through a difficult chapter, and now we were ready to embrace a new beginning. A beginning filled with hope, love, and the knowledge that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we would face them together as a family. The future was full of possibilities, and I couldn't wait to see what it held for us.
If this story touched you, show your support by liking and subscribing. Your encouragement helps us keep sharing memorable stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.